So I would not dare introduce today's guest because everyone knows him. I know him, you know him, everybody knows him.
Oh
So
my
let's
God.
just invite the man, the legend, the mustache, Piyush Pandey.
Hi, nice to meet you and good to be on the show.
Thank you so much. So I'll get straight to it. We have a lot of questions. Hopefully, we hope to get a lot of stories from you, right? And a lot of insights. So I'll begin with, because like I was telling you earlier also कि आपने इतने interviews दिए, मैंने I think सारे पढ़ लिए. There's nothing left for me to read now. read now. So but there's I've been thinking, what should I ask you? What is it जो आपसे पहले कभी नहीं पूछा गया है? So I was hoping कि you tell me what is that one question जो आपके दिमाग में आते कि यार ये कोई कभी क्यों नहीं पूछता है? What is that question for you? And if you can answer that for us.
Yes, सवाल तो बहुत पूछ लिए इन लोगों ने. घुमा फिरा के वही सब आता है कि किससे सीखा, कहाँ से सीखा, and who inspired you. And the key question that comes, what brought you to advertising?
Yeah.
So I think I'll try and answer that. It was purely luck by chance. I was a MA student in Delhi St. Stephen's College. Then I went and joined tea. That's the next question comes always. तो वहाँ से चाय में कैसे पहुँच गए? उस ज़माने में चाय के अलावा कुछ पीना अलाउड नहीं था. कॉलेज से निकले थे. नहीं, but there's a very good friend of mine, Arun Lal, who used to play for India, cricketer. तो उसने मैंने डिसाइड किया था कि एक न एक दिन जहाँ भी काम करेंगे साथ में करेंगे. ये कोई आइडिया नहीं था कि कहाँ काम करेंगे. So that was the madness. तो we went and worked for the same tea company. वहाँ पे 3 साल में मैं थोड़ा बोर हो गया of the good life that they gave you. I got bored of the good life. And फिर कुछ लोग मिल गए जो एडवर्टाइजिंग में थे. तो फिर वो अरुण लाल उनकी वाइफ ने कहा, यार ये लोग जो करते हैं ये तो दिन में तुम 10 बार बोलते हो, तो तुम एडवर्टाइजिंग क्यों नहीं कर लेते हो? तो दैट वाज ओनली सेम थिंग आई डिड कि लोगों ने कलकत्ते में कहा हमारे बॉस से मिल लो. तो मैंने कहा देखो अब बॉस के पास ले चलोगे तो उनका टाइम वेस्ट होगा, क्योंकि मैं डिसाइड कर चुका हूँ, क्योंकि मैं 3 साल बाद जा रहा हूँ और के मुकाबले. तो मैं वहाँ जाऊँगा जहाँ इसको बेस्ट सीखा जा सकता है. और उसका आंसर था बॉम्बे. तो मैं बॉम्बे आ गया. फिर मैंने 2-3 महीने नौकरी ढूंढी. कईयों ने मेरे को 82. So most of them didn't know what to do with me, because I was a very high standard MA history. 3 साल काम करके आया था, not in advertising. They didn't know what to do with me. What exactly, he is a achiever who has done quite a bit, more than most advertising people. Where do we fit him? What do we pay him? So I got rejected many times, and then somebody asked me to see Ranjan Kapoor at Ogilvy. I came and met him. He also didn't promise to give me a job. He said, we don't have a job, but send him to me. I'll tell him where all to go looking for a job as in decent companies. At the end of the interview, he said, you come and meet my boss tomorrow. And the next day I came there, and he offered me a job, and that was the end of it. 2nd of August 1982, I'm still there.
Actually, that was one of my questions, right? 82 and now we're like 2024. It's a long, glorious journey, right? And
Glorious, pata nahi, enjoyable, yes.
For sure, enjoyable and for sure glorious. Like everyone present over here right now is extremely inspired by you. No. So, but yeah, coming back to the question, like when you joined Ogilvy, आपको उस टाइम पे से लगा था कि this is somewhere I'm going to be there for like decades and decades?
नहीं, इसकी कहानी है. क्योंकि मैं जब मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर से मिला अगले दिन आफ्टर मीटिंग रंजन कपूर, तो उन्होंने बड़ा अच्छा सवाल पूछा मुझसे कि आपने यू वर MA स्टूडेंट इन हिस्ट्री, यू हैव बीन अ क्रिकेटर, यू हैड जॉइंड अ कंस्ट्रक्शन कंपनी फॉर 2 months. So बोले you have been in construction company, now you come into advertising. How do I know that you will be with us? What guarantee can you give that you will be with us 1 year from now? So that was a smart answer I gave him on the spot. I didn't think of it. I said, I can't give you any guarantee. but please tell me, can you give me a guarantee that you will keep me 1 year from now? So he started laughing. I said, chances are that I will enjoy this. I'm likely to stay. But I can't guarantee you anything. I was not even Mr. Modi, who is offering guarantees to the voters and to the people of India. So the guarantee word, actually guarantee word came from there to me. So I told some people that story within my company and some friends. The day I completed 40 years. I said 40 years back I told Mr. Iyer that I think I'll stay. And today is 40 years. And unfortunately Mr. Iyer is no longer there. I would have told him, see Mr. Iyer, I didn't lie to you.
For sure. But was there any temptation? Because I'm sure everyone must have tried to poach you. And I'm
Yeah,
sure
post 86, yes. Post 90, they knew the answer. So they didn't even attempt. So yes, people attempted, but I was enjoying Ogilvy so much. It was like being at home. They were wonderful people. There was a wonderful philosophy of David Ogilvy. So there was no question for me to go anywhere. Money had not been a concern for me ever. In fact, when I joined Ogilvy in 1982 as a trainee, I had come on a salary which was 60% lower than what I was getting in Calcutta. But I didn't care. I just wanted to be in something that I thought I would love to do.
would you mind sharing what was that salary like?
2,000 rupees, out of which 200 rupees were cut for Provident Fund.
Wow.
And I had come from a job where it paid me, first of all it gave me a house bigger than this, with 4 of us youngsters used to stay, but it was, it had everything in it, from fridge to this to that. It was a lovely place in a lovely street. They used to give us lovely lunches every day. That was free in the office. Then they made us club members. So it was fully furnished house, well fed in the office, and allowed to play in the evening. So, and 30 to 100 rupees. So it would have worked out to about 5,000 rupees as compared to 2,000. But that was not my priority. And this is one thing I want to share with the youngsters of today. कि यार पैसे तो बन जाएंगे, काम अच्छा करोगे तो money will chase you. If you chase money from day one, then you will never have fun in your life. If you don't have fun in life, you are unlikely to go up. तो पहले दिन पे मैं लॉटरी जीत जाऊंगा तो वो सारे पैसे भी जा सकते हैं. तो वो करो जिसमें दिल आपका लगे. एंड ये मैं गारंटी फिर से देता हूँ कि यू विल डू वेल इफ़ यू आर एंजॉइंग इट.
So and अब like अभी आपने भी mention किया टी टेस्टर and I've read about it. What was that job? मतलब उसमें क्या करना होता था?
टी टेस्टिंग आप किसी से सीखते हो, नॉट बाय रीडिंग बुक्स. एक वो एक्सपीरियंस टेस्टर होते हैं, वो आपके पहले टेस्ट करते हैं. आप फिर वो पत्ती देखते हैं, फिर गीली पत्ती देखते हैं, फिर वो उसका जो ब्रू है उसको टेस्ट करके फिर आप निकाल देते हैं. फिर वो आप चलते हैं उनके साथ में कि किस चीज़ को क्या बोल रहे हैं वो, और आप उनके बाद में करते चलते हो. तो ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम यू गेट एक्सपीरियंस्ड. एंड इसका पर्पस ये होता है कि यू गिव द प्राइस टू अ टी, क्योंकि टी इज सोल्ड इन ऑक्शंस. तो आपका एक प्राइस होना चाहिए सो दैट यू नो उसके कितना ऊपर तक जाऊंगा, कितना नीचे तक जाऊंगा. और आप अपने गार्डन्स को एडवाइस करते हैं कि बाज़ार में ऐसी टी बिक रही है तो आप अपनी टी को ऐसे बनाइए. तो दिस इज़ द बेसिक थिंग. इट्स अ वेरी interesting job, and there are people who are very, very good. I had a very good boss. We were just youngsters. Arun Lal, me, many others. Charu Sharma was a commentator. हम सब सेम कॉलेज से सेम जगह आ गए थे. तो उसमें थोड़ा वक्त लगता है सीखने में, पर थोड़ा बोर भी हो सकते हैं थोड़ी देर बाद. तो बहुत लोग नहीं होते हैं और अच्छा करते हैं लाइफ में. तो इट्स अ इंटरेस्टिंग जॉब. जैसे वाइन टेस्टर्स होते हैं यूरोप में.
So do you think वो experience somewhere helped you in creating campaigns?
I think the experience that you can look at it in hindsight. एक तो आप लोगों की बात सुनना सीखते हैं. आप उससे नहीं कहते नहीं ये चाय ऐसी नहीं है. आप सीख रहे हैं, आप सुन रहे हैं. एक उस व्यक्ति से सुन रहे हैं जिन्होंने 30 साल काम किया है वो. तो द बिगेस्ट थिंग इन कम्युनिकेशन इज यू मस्ट लर्न टू हियर. So in hindsight, I can say I was learning to hear. I was learning to put my neck on the line to say, I think this is the price. You could get a pat on the back or a slap on your face to say, no, this is your underpricing or your overpricing. So you learn to communicate with somebody and you learn to hear. Most important thing is you learn to hear. And you meet different people. So you're learning by meeting people. So everything in life, there is something to learn from. Don't think कि मेरा टाइम वेस्ट हो गया. मेरा टाइम बिल्कुल वेस्ट नहीं हुआ. मैं बहुत लोगों से मिला, मेरे से बड़े लोगों से मिला, मेरे से छोटे लोगों में उम्र से मिला. उनके साथ मैंने वो लाइफ देखी जो मैंने कभी नहीं देखी थी कि हाउ टू मूव इन सोसाइटी विच इज़ मोर अकम्प्लिश्ड देन यू. सो एवरीथिंग टीचेज यू समथिंग. Every experience teaches you something. So now this is another kind of information I give to your audiences that हर चीज़ में दुनिया में कुछ न कुछ देखते चलो. When you are looking at something on the road, you might get a thought. Our communication for Fevicol with the bus in the deserts of Jaisalmer, it was something that we had seen. It was not something that we suddenly thought बस पे ऐसे लोग बैठते हैं. हमने देखे थे वो बस पे जा. The idea that the team had was that पीछे बोर्ड लगा देंगे. So आंखें खुली, eyes open, ears to the ground, and a heart which is willing to accept.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that campaign. One of the most iconic campaigns.
It is.
You guys and Fevicol both. And
Yeah.
in your partnership, like आप लोग ने back to back great campaigns create किए हैं.
मेरे साथ टीम थी अच्छी खासी. कभी वो करते थे, अभिजीत ने किया था बस वाला. कभी कोई और करता था, कभी ज़्यादातर मैं करता था. Then in between there is my brother who has made all the pidlight work. So most of the ideas he could also turn around and make it something different from what you had in the. So it was a big team, very passionate team, and a great client who motivated you, who accepted good work, who backed good work, and who had the best thing that a client can have is that who would give you a hug and say, well done.
Can you share any story, any memory of that time? कोई अच्छा campaign?
There are many campaigns, तो सारे अच्छे थे. कहानियाँ थी बड़ी अच्छी. I remember many of them. एक तो पहला ही जो कमर्शियल मैंने किया था, जो आप देखते दम लगा के हाइशा, that was not done for Fevicol, that was done for a brand called Fevitight. Same commercial. Then Mr. B.K. Parikh, who was the founder of the company, and his son Mr. Madhukar Parikh, who's now the chairman of the company and has built the company, they said, you know, Piyush, this ad is a great ad, but this brand Fevitight is too small to do justice to it. Why don't you take the money again and go and make it as is for Fevicol? That is the beginning of Fevicol. So there is a God who said, this is your destiny. There were two very, very astute marketing people who said, great commercial, let us not allow it to go to waste. So this is a story of a lifetime. That the client is telling you that the ad is too good for this brand. Why don't you make it for my brand that will do justice? Now, this is what brand managers must learn, that you are not a salesman. You are a brand manager. A brand manager converts a product from a product to a brand. The emotional side of a product is the brand. You wear this suit that you're wearing. The functional thing is that you need to wear something. It becomes a brand when you like something, when you love something. Then you say, I only want to buy Titan. I only want to buy this X, Y, Z. So watch has become a brand. So that's something to learn, and they converted their own product into a huge brand by such smart thinking.
Yeah. So my last question is कि Ranji Trophy is like a very huge part of your origin story, and you played so well that at any point आपने सोचा नहीं to pursue it as a career?
No, I didn't play that well. If I had played very well, I would have continued to play.
Yeah.
At one point of time, I realized also that I was not playing to my potential, and it showed in the scores. And so before they dropped me, I quietly made an exit, and they were very close to dropping me.
Okay.
So that's a time in life when you have to make a choice. That's another point that I think it applies to everyone, whether we are in advertising or not. That once you know that you are pushing yourself too much, but you're not enjoying it because you're not doing well, that's the time to think that, am I going to be here for long, or should I get out of it just because I loved it earlier? You give it your best shot, but at some point of time you'll have to draw a line. And that's something that I was, in hindsight again I say that I was smart that I moved out. I was not as good as I reached my level of competence. So I moved on.
Good
And
memory.
people who I was playing with, they went on to play for India, many of them.
Wow.
In our university cricket, I used to be in the same team with Kapil Dev, myself, Arun Lal, Kirti Azad. Some of them I captained also. But they had it in them to go and play for India. I didn't have it.
Did you run into any
Nor
of
could they write ads.
True. So did you run into any of them? Ad
I
shoot
keep
करने
meeting
के
them.
time?
I keep meeting them. We are still very good friends.
Fond memories.
Arun and I to speak to each other every day. And वरना जो भी मिल जाते हैं, we spend a good time when we meet. Yes, that world is very close to me. I was lucky that I came in touch with cricket in a big way from the communication angle. Like one of my most popular commercials was the girl dancing on the cricket field for Cadbury's. That was cricket. Then IPL, the proposal was written by me and Arun Lal and another friend of ours called Amrit Mathur. So then we were associated with cricket with IPL. I was associated for over 10 years. So your passion finds you somewhere or the other. May not be as a player, but somebody who was able to use the love for cricket in your second love or the first love, which was advertising.
So my first question is also, it might be a little bit on a down note, but what happens is कि it happens to all of us, right? कि आप कोई pitch में जाते हो, अच्छी नहीं जाती है, client से अच्छा feedback नहीं आता है. Sometimes you just end up don't liking your own word or work, even when the idea was very good on paper, right? So, and we know that you have had a legacy of campaigns. Like I can't, if I start listing now, with the time, like I know it will be a lot, right? But have you had any bad days or any?
Of course,
stories
everyone
that
does.
say-
This is something I was talking to you about earlier. If you look at the lifetime test records of Sachin Tendulkar, he doesn't have 100 in every inning. He has his share of zeros. He has his share of bad shots that he played at the wrong time. He has had his points of disappointment when he said, I could have done much better tonight, this morning. He must have had a few tears in his eyes, on his pillow. So we are all human beings. When we do badly, we feel bad that I made a mistake. There are times when you said, no, that guy bowled a ball to me which was a beauty. So I got out. So you have to get up and say the next day is going to be my day. You don't have to look back. If you look back, you will be thinking of the mistake you made. If you get up and say, I'll do better, then you say, where did you make a mistake? How will you improve on that? So yes, everyone has a bad day, everyone has a great day, and everyone is human. We cry when we fail, and we enjoy when we do well. people ask me this question very often, that do you have a creative block? And my answer is no, I don't have creative blocks. I look at them as speed breakers. Speed breakers slow you down for a little bit, but the speed breaker is only this wide. You'll come back on the main road again. So don't think back, look forward.
Moving on to my next question, so जब भी हम advertising बोलते हैं, and to an extent media representation भी रहा है कि लोगों को लगता है बहुत glamorous industry है, आधी चड्डी पहन के ऑफिस जाएंगे, ऑफिस में beer पियेंगे. It's a very एक somewhat थोड़ा glamorous slash privileged image
वो
create
थोड़ी
हो
ज़्यादा
गया है.
थी ये. इतना ग्लैमर जब जाके काम करते हो ना, इतना ग्लैमर दिखता नहीं है.
Exactly. So if you were to describe advertising to the people जो अभी आ रहे हैं ये इंडस्ट्री में, and if you had to tell them both goods and bads, कौन क्या है,
देखो क्या है
हार्श
कि
क्या है.
शॉर्ट्स पहनने का मतलब नहीं आइडिया आएंगे, और वो हवा महल टाइप जीन्स जो लोग पहनते हैं छेद छेद वाली, उसका मतलब नहीं है कि 50 आइडिया आएंगे छेदों में से. तो be yourself. We encourage people to not be confined. Think freely. But never think that advertising means कि बाल ऐसे काट लो तो आइडिया आ जाएंगे. नहीं, आपको अच्छे आइडिया आ रहे हैं, आपको बाल ऐसे काटने हैं, काट लो यार, कोई क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है. सो एडवर्टाइजिंग में जाऊंगा और उस दिन ये पहनूंगा और वो करूंगा और कान छिदा लूँगा और वो बना लूँगा, टैटू बना लो, मगर आइडिया उससे आएंगे कि नहीं उसकी कोई गारंटी नहीं है. So, yes, we like to be free and well behaved, so that you are not hampering somebody else. But yes, when I joined other agencies who were working on Hindustan Lever, we were also a very small agency on a small brand in Hindustan Lever. So our boss said that वो आते हैं सब टाई वाई लगा के, बाकी एजेंसीज के लोग. We don't have to do that. We are a Boy Scout agency. We roll up our sleeves and get to work. So other people, लोगों के तरीके अलग होते हैं सोचने के. But yes, there's a lot more freedom than a banker who has to be dressed in a certain way, or a lawyer who has a attire which has to be followed. So it depends.
So anything that you would want to warn them about when they're coming, like something they should be prepared for?
They don't come there prepared that some hot models will come and sit in your lap. Do your work. You have the freedom to express. Nobody stops you. Think. And somebody might say, yeah, this is not good enough. Try again. Learn to hear a no. But that no is not a final no. Try something again. Same person may tell you, yeah, this is fantastic, even I didn't think of it. So you have to prepare yourself. As a creative person, you have to prepare by saying that I love life. चाहे वो छोटी सी चाय की दुकान पे हो, चाहे 5-star होटल में हो, चाहे लोकल ट्रेन की आप सेकंड क्लास कंपार्टमेंट हो. मैंने तो ऐसे ही ज़िंदगी चालू की थी, 4-5 साल वही कर रहा था. तो वहाँ भी कुछ देखने को है. वहाँ भी आपको देखने को फिशर वूमन कैसे बिहेव करती है, सड़कों भी कुछ देखने को. यू कम प्रिपेयर्ड दैट आई एम ओपन टू एक्सेप्टिंग आइडियाज़ फ्रॉम द वर्ल्ड. I am open to sharing ideas with the world. So that your preparedness is that you are in a business of communication, and communication is a two-way activity. तो सुनना भी सीखो, बोलना भी सीखो, हंसना भी सीखो, रोना भी सीखो.
So in the spirit of keeping it real, looking back, ऐसा कौन सा moment था in advertising when you realize you made it, कि अब कर लिया?
Made it, so I never thought of. But I thought of in terms of कि आज मज़ा आ गया, अभी मेरे पकड़ में आया गेम. तो एक कहानी बड़ी अच्छी लिखी है मेरे एक्स बॉस चिंतामणि राव ने. रिसेंटली रोट उसने पहले कभी नहीं लिखा मेरे बारे में. he just decided to write one of the best pieces that I have read. So he remembered a story, and then I said, it happened like this. He wrote about why I was making a statement in the industry by being able to relate to the people of India. The other people didn't get it. They thought it's about language. He wrote a story that that we were sitting at Bombay Gym lunchtime or something, having a beer in the corridor, and some agency head, a CEO of some agency, came and said to me, you know, we just love your work, but we have now understood what you do. So, and Chinta writes, and this guy continued to say, it is about language. What you write is English. I just smiled when he went, and we have caught on to it. As he left, I said, Chinta, for a moment when he said that we have understood what you do, I was worried. But when he said what he said, I'm not worried. He hasn't understood a thing. So, there are moments when you think that you are understanding the consumer. It's not what you did, it's who you reached. It's not that you wrote a fantastic piece, it's how people said it is fantastic. The difference between good and great is, I write an idea and I know that it is good to go. It is the consumer who makes it great. He comes and tells you, make me a Fevicol, make me a Cadbury, make me a Hutch. So they are converting it into greatness. You write something that you say is good. Natija decide karta it's great.
That's true. And so looking back, like again, this is a very good story. ऐसा एक कोई कैंपेन था जिसको शूट करने में आपको बहुत ही लाइक आई नो ऑल कैंपेन्स हैव बीन एंजॉयबल बट एनी कैंपेन दैट इज वेरी क्लोज टू योर हार्ट एंड क्रिएटिंग इट वाज आल्सो अ डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंस
बहुत हैं यार किसको नेम करूं yes, of course we've enjoyed Fevicol all the time, but it was a great fun. It was great fun when I did the Cadbury's girl thing, because it was a difficult time for us. We were put onto a pitch, so we were onto a risk. But that was the joy of it. I wrote that campaign on the back of a boarding card on a plane, and when we went there, we decided, me and Mahesh Mathai, who was the director, that we will not give her a choreographer. Let her be. And so when she gave the first shot, we said, okay, we got it. We just shot some more, just for safety. But we knew we had it. On the first take, we saw her and we almost cried. And he says, done. We are through. Nobody can ever reject this. And the rest was history.
And when they recreated that also.
The team recreated it. I told them, I said, कुछ भी कर लेना, गाना मत change करना. Hold it together. And they did a fantastic job. So that was a sense of the day we got that account back. We knew it the first time we played it, we got it back. That was the day of saying, because we had come from being almost out to be greatly in. So that joy was something else, because we were on the back foot, but we came out hitting a sixer out of the park. So those moments are great moments. But those moments should not say, now अब मैं पहुंच गया हूँ, अब मैं शुरू हूँ. And when in 2000 that campaign got the campaign of the century, that's when we said, yeah, we never thought कि हम यहाँ पहुंचेंगे, but we had joy, we had fun all the time. That's why it became the campaign of the century.
So where did you get that idea? Like any inspiration behind that idea? Or कैसे आए?
See, it was very, now it sounds very simple. It was my idea that there is a child in each one of us. And we didn't want to show a child in the commercial. But I wanted to show a child within him, within you, within myself, where for a moment we say, I don't give a damn, I'll do whatever. अभी बरसात हो रही है, मेरी उम्र की चिंता नहीं है मुझे, मैं जान के मेरे को टेरेस पे नाचना है बरसात. That's the child within me. So all the commercials were about a child within you. Starting from the girl on the cricket field, she didn't give a damn that so many people are watching. She just went and celebrated a moment of her friend getting 100. And the entire campaign is all about that. Yeah, because we were showing a child earlier, we were being considered as a child's product. And the adults were not consuming despite the fact that they liked it. So this was a way of opening that children loved it, seeing an older woman dancing like them. And they loved it because when we researched it later with the mothers of such girls, because there was one reservation, what will the mothers say that their girl is dancing on the... Those mothers in the research said, you know what, all my childhood, all my youth, I wanted to do this, but nobody allowed me to. So you got the most positive response from them.
And even the music, so is this, because it's
मैजिकल
yeah.
गूज़बम्स आते हैं. कोई इनफैक्ट एशियन म्यूज़िक का प्रोग्राम भी है जिसके अंदर रोशन अब्बास, मैं, लुई बैंक्स, शंकर, who sang the song. By the end of the interview, everyone was crying. All of us. So, sometimes God is on your side. Music, we had only half an hour to do. Louis had to go to Calcutta. Magic happened. Shankar was not supposed to sing the song. I called him up and brought him to the studio at 7 in the morning, and he did that. The girl did the first shot. So, sometimes God says, I'll give you a freebie.
Last, I think the evolution in advertising has been gradual, but last 10 years mein, it feels like everything got fast-tracked, there's specialization.
Faster but not better.
Actually, that is what my question is leading up to. There's specialization, network agencies, independent agencies, consultants, and usme different platforms, algorithms, name it, and everything is added. Do you think in all this, and then there's audience segmentation, Gen Z, Gen Y, everything, we are going crazy in figuring that out. So do you think कि ये सब technicalities से and somewhere good old advertising gets sidelined?
You have to see the work in the media today. The percentage of work that you say I like has gone down like this. When you don't have ideas, you take 2 film stars in a TV commercial. When you don't have any idea, you take 4. When you have 0 idea, you take 10. So, I mean, it is ridiculous that when you see IPL and all, it is pathetic advertising. And you're pouring in celebrities without an idea. What will a poor celebrity do? He's getting money, so he's doing it. But is he enjoying doing that? No. Is the audience enjoying seeing it? No. In the audience, you're treating them like, भेड़ बकरी. You कुछ भी चलाऊंगा. So it's pathetic. See, technology is to help you enhance your idea. Technology is not the idea. When you come to enhancing an idea, this is the idea that people in my team thought of when they did Shah Rukh Khan for Cadbury's. कि मेरा आइडिया वो डीप फेक नहीं है. मेरा आइडिया है कि एक गरीब दुकान वाले को शाहरुख खान ने प्रमोट किया, जो चीज़ उसको ज़िंदगी में नहीं मिली थी. दैट्स एन आइडिया. द टेक्नोलॉजी ऑफ हाउ टू डू इट, डीप फेक यूज़ करके, शाहरुख के साथ काम करके, सो दैट यू कुड हियर शाहरुख सेइंग अगली बार साड़ी को चंपा सिल्क स्टोर से लेना. वो चंपा सिल्क स्टोर कर रहा है, यार मेरा नाम शाहरुख खान ने लिया. तो दैट इज़ मैजिक ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी. Now, I had a damn good idea, but technology helped me or helped my team make it happen. And it became a worldwide idea of the biggest kind. Worldwide, but starting in the street. So, that technology is good technology. But you say कि मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ तो ठीक है वही करता हूँ, आइडिया सोचूंगा नहीं. तो that is a disaster. That is a disaster completely. That is why you don't see.
That's true. So, and actually, like you said, कि audience का ज़्यादा consideration है. A lot of time when we talk, people say कि ना ad में ये हुआ था, but उनको याद नहीं होता कि brand कौन सा था.
नहीं होता.
Like story में एक मम्मी थी, एक बेटा था, दिवाली थी.
नहीं, वो दिवाली में हुआ क्या वो भी नहीं था. That आप ये बात कर रहे हो, reminds me of Asian Paints campaign that I started from my own youth. कि when I used to be playing cricket in college in Delhi, my parents were in Jaipur. दिवाली पे I used to tell them मेरे तो मैचेस चल रहे हैं, मैं नहीं आऊँगा. They used to be so disappointed. और मैं रात को बस पकड़ के उसमें कंबल लगा के घर पहुँच जाता था because I knew I was going. और वहाँ पे जो तूफान होता था, रोने लगते थे सब. That was the Asian Paints campaign that I did, Pongal and everything. So there is a thought, there is an idea. कोई टेक्नोलॉजी तो नहीं थी, ये कहानी थी सबको याद रहती है. इट्स नॉट कि एक मम्मी थी एक वो था. कहानी दैट पीपल रिमेंबर इज कि एक बच्चा जो अपनी माँ को बोलता है कि मैं दिवाली पे नहीं आऊँगा और छुप के पहुँच जाता है. देन देयर इज अ स्टोरी.
Actually, I decided कि मैं आपको ज़्यादा पुराने कैंपेन्स का नहीं पूछूंगी because I know I get carried away. I love nostalgia. But now that you've mentioned Asian Paints, I have to ask. वो हर घर कुछ कहता है कैसे आया था that idea?
बैठे बैठे आ गया. तो मैं बैठा था वहाँ, हमारा कमला मिल्स में ऑफिस था. I was thinking of Asian Paints because we were also chatting and my planning partner Madhukar was also saying कि यार house becomes more than a house these days because of involvement. कि there are parts of the house which you say यार ये तो जैसे when you told me about the house I said मेरी वाइफ ने किया है. तो बैठा था, मैंने कहा हर घर कुछ कहता है. एंड देन आई रोट इट. वो कागज़ पता नहीं कहाँ है तो सही मेरे पास, मैं हाथ से लिखता हूँ. तो देयर वाज नॉट वन बिंदु दैट आई टच लेटर. जैसे थॉट आया वैसे के वैसे मैंने लिखा. मैंने क्लाइंट को फ़ोन किया. KBS आनंद वाज द मार्केटिंग हेड एंड अमित सिंगल was that his sales head partner. ऐसे दोनों क्या कर रहे हो ऑफिस में? बोला कुछ नहीं कर रहे, मैं अभी आ जाओ. वो they were so nice कि वो आ गए. मैंने ऐसे ऐसे सुना दिया तो वो दोनों भी रोने लग गए, मैं भी रोने लग गया. It's a very emotional thing, particularly that line कि इस फर्श पे किसके बच्चे नंगे पैर चलते हैं. And similar line was written by one of my colleagues in a later campaign कि इस घर में रोटियां गिन के क्यों नहीं बनती. So everything that makes you feel that this is my house. तो वैसे जब थॉट आती है तो आदमी लॉजिकली नहीं करता, आदमी फ्लो को निकाल लाता है और मैजिक वहीं से आता है.
अभी एशियन लाइक हर घर कुछ कहता है कि बहुत एक्सटेंशंस, डिजिटल एक्सटेंशंस भी हुए. सो आर यू हैप्पी विद हाउ वो कॉन्सेप्ट कैसे ग्रो किया है ओवर द ईयर्स?
अभी और होना उसको. The one that I did sitting in COVID times was something that nobody had asked for it. I just did that and made it, and they ran it. Ghar Ghar Tiranga. I just used my voice, went into a small studio, asked somebody to go and shoot. There's no person in it. Have you seen it? I love it because it's a big thought.
And especially in that time when everything was so
Yeah.
uncertain, it was a very comforting campaign
Yeah.
to watch.
तो अभी उसको बहुत कुछ आना है. मेरी अमित सिंगल से बात भी हो रही थी अभी कि उसको और भी आगे ले जाना है.
We're very excited. Actually, very excited to see what.
It's a campaign with a heart. When
Yeah.
there's a campaign with a heart, it can run for a very long time. Asian Paints, Har Ghar is about 20 years old already.
Yeah. Okay.
And as you were talking about old ads, see, old ads and new ads में फ़र्क ज़्यादा नहीं होता है. In terms of, I go and speak at IIMs and all those places. And when those kids go mad on the first frame of the Cadbury's, that cricket film, and I say, यार ये तो पैदा भी नहीं हुआ था. A hell of a lot of work which we think is old work. They love it like crazy. They were not born. So ये सोचना कि नहीं अब जगह बच्चे नए आ गए, मैं कुछ नया बना दूंगा. तो नया बनाऊंगा अच्छा तो बना, वरना तू नया बना देगा परसों वो भूल जाएगा तो क्या फ़ायदा. Then you're wasting your client's money and your life.
I'm glad you said that. And I have this one question, and I think everyone in the industry at some point उनको ये question रहा है, right? पुरानी ads कैडबरी एड, हर घर कुछ कहता है, 4 बूंदों वाला उजाला, चल मेरी लूना, लाइक आई कैन गो ऑन। वो एक स्टिकेबिलिटी थी, वो अभी के कैंपेन्स में व्हाट डू यू थिंक टेक्निकल लेवल पे
आई
क्यों
टोल्ड
नहीं
यू ना,
आते
क्योंकि
हैं?
सोच नहीं रहे वो। कुछ टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई तो मेरे को टेक्नोलॉजी यूज़ करनी है। एंड मेरा मानना है कि टेक्नोलॉजी क्यों यूज़ करनी है, ये तो पूछो अपने से पहले कि अगर आपको आया कि मेरे पास आइडिया है टेक्नोलॉजी यूज़ करने से और भी अच्छा हो जाएगा, तो देन यू थिंग्स विल स्टिक, लाइक शाहरुख खान। अगर तुम पहले टेक्नोलॉजी से जाओगे तो उसका तो पर्पस नहीं है टेक्नोलॉजी देखने का। जिसने पीटीवी चलाया, डिजिटल चलाया, उसका पर्पस है आज यार कुछ अच्छा देखूं, कुछ नया देखूं। और उसको देखो यार मैं तुमको दिखाता हूँ कैसे होता है। बोले भाई साहब थैंक यू।
इज देयर एनी कैंपेन, एनी आइडिया जो आपको आया था बैक देन बट इट डिड नॉट गेट अप्रूव्ड बिकॉज मे बी इट वाज अहेड ऑफ इट्स टाइम, या यू फेल्ट इट शुड हैव सीन द डे ऑफ द लाइट? हैव देयर एनी बीन एनीथिंग लाइक दैट?
होती है चीज़ें, कई बार वो चीज़ें अच्छी होती हैं मगर दे कुड हैव बीन बेटर फॉर अनदर ब्रांड ऑफ द सेम क्लाइंट, और इसलिए वो चलाया नहीं ज़्यादा। मैं कल परसों एक बात हो रही थी एक क्लाइंट से, फैंटास्टिक ऐड था, पर उन्हीं के पास डव भी थी, पॉन्ड्स जो डव में था, तो वो डव के लिए बेटर सूट होता। पॉन्ड्स के लिए भी बहुत अच्छा था मगर वो चलाया नहीं ज़्यादा उन्होंने, कि उनको लगा यार ये है तो बड़ा अच्छा मगर मोर लाइक डव। तो ऐसी चीज़ें होती हैं कई बार।
Which ad was this? If
इट वॉज ब्यूटिफुल एड। उसकी लाइन थी एंड की, सदा सलोनी बनी रहो, फॉर डव, एंड गोइंग टू एवरी वन। So it was not about beautiful women from the modeling world. It was a old lady from राजस्थान का जो खिड़की खोलती है। कुछ लड़कियां केरला में हैं, कुछ यहाँ हैं, कुछ वहाँ हैं। बड़ा अच्छा गाना था इस पे। तो कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं चलाया उन्होंने। दे ऑल्सो थॉट कि यार चलाया इसलिए था कि उनको भी अच्छा लगा था, मगर आई पर्सनली स्टिल बिलीव कि उसकी रिसर्च में गलती थी। वो चलना चाहिए था और ज़्यादा। तो negative results on research took out the confidence of the people. I personally am very very convinced कि वो महीना भर भी और चलाते तो आज we would have been talking about it.
ये series, one of the reasons we started was because we wanted to create a bridge between the evolution of advertising. So हम सबसे कुछ कुछ पूछ रहे हैं, जैसे हम कृष्णा बुद्धा से मिले थे, पार्ले मार्केटिंग, तो he was telling us about कि पहले उनको कैसे आर्ट वर्क ब्रोमाइड पे आता था। नॉट फॉर दिस सीरीज बट आई रिमेंबर एक इंटरव्यू में पॉप्स हैड मेंशन कि वो लोग वर्ल्ड कप कैंपेन पे काम कर रहे थे एंड दे यूज्ड टू सिट इन द न्यूज़पेपर का ऑफिस रात को 2:30 बजे, और फिर रेडियो पे सुनते थे मैन ऑफ द मैच कौन है, फिर कॉपी लिखते थे, फिर वो प्रिंट में जाता था। तो ऐसी आपके लिए क्या स्टोरी है विच आजकल के एडवर्टाइजिंग पीपल लाइक मी और वे यंगर देन मी फॉर दैट मैटर उनको आश्चर्यचकित कर देगी? ऐसी कोई स्टोरी, मेमोरी?
जबरदस्त है वो वर्ल्ड कप था एंड फिलिप्स की ब्रांड थी PHX, कलर टीवी, एंड वी हैड टाइगर पटौडी। तो आइडिया मैंने सोचा था कि यार मैच के पहले ही प्रेडिक्ट करेंगे मैच। तो टाइगर पटौडी यूज्ड टू कम इन, ही सेज टुमारो इंडिया इज प्लेइंग ऑस्ट्रेलिया। वर्ल्ड कप में तो इतने सारे मैचेस होते, प्लेइंग ऑस्ट्रेलिया इन कानपुर। नाउ द विकेट इज द टर्निंग ट्रैक, आई थिंक दिस विल हैपन दैट। ऐसा लग रहा वहीं बैठा वो, हम तो कानपुर गए नहीं थे, हम तो यहाँ बैठे थे। देन इट रियली सीम्ड कि अभी स्टडी करके आए हैं विकेट को ये। मतलब मैं, आई वॉज नॉट इन द एड बट ही यूज्ड टू टॉक टू द ऑडियंस एंड देन ही वेंट ऑन टू से दैट इफ यू कांट बी देयर मेक श्योर यू आर वाचिंग इट ऑन योर PHX टीवी। तो उसमें फाइनल का टाइम आया, हमने कहा फाइनल पहुँचेंगे कि नहीं पहुँचेंगे ये तो मालूम नहीं। तो वी डिड 2 ads. So India is in the final. Then other one was so India didn't make it to the final. This happened, that happened. So people really thought कि हम prediction कर रहे हैं। Prediction कुछ नहीं कर रहे थे, pre-record कर रहे थे। That was great fun. Very early days for me. I think Reliance World Cup था, वो 87 या कभी था।
आई थिंक वो वर्ल्ड कप में प्रेशर भी ज़्यादा होगा बिकॉज पिछले वाले में इंडिया हैड वन।
हाँ, और ये इस बार इंडिया में था, तो वो यस दीज थिंग्स लॉट ऑफ देम। अनदर वन ऑफ एशियन पेंट्स यू टॉक्ड अबाउट कि again my cricketing friends came handy. So this is the next World Cup, and we wanted to do India had blue shirt, so we had मेरा वाला blue, हमारा वाला blue, just the shirt. जडेजा की शर्ट कहाँ से मंगा के कहाँ पे शूट की थी, मंगा ली थी, वापस भेजी उसकी, just a blue shirt, and it said नीचे लाइन थी हमारा वाला blue. अगले दिन अल्लाह इंडिया हार गया श्रीलंका से. So I just took that हमारा वाला blue shirt, changed the blue into dark blue, cut the हमारा, which was all not rubbed it, cut it, and said तुम्हारा वाला blue. Congratulations Sri Lanka, you were a shade better. Mind blowing ad. I had done like this. And Bharat Puri, who was the marketing manager, he didn't even see the ad. I just told him, Bharat, अभी release करना है, मैं कर रहा हूँ तो सुबह अखबार में देखेगा. He said, go ahead. Fantastic campaign.
Makes you realize कि client पे भी उतना ही onus होता है. Like
Client के बिना तो आप हो ही नहीं. Fevicol बनना है तो तुमको Fevicol बनना पड़ेगा पहले. You will have to be a Madhugar Parikh. ऐसे नहीं बनता Fevicol. अब मेरे को 50 बार लोगों ने कहा फेविकॉल बनाओगे. मैंने कहा हिम्मत है तुम्हें फेविकॉल बनाने की, क्योंकि जैसे ही मैं बनाऊंगा ऐसा कुछ तो बोलोगे नहीं. हमारे यहाँ क्या होता है कि हमको 2 चीज़ें बतानी पड़ती पहले. ऐसे यू कैन नेवर मेक अ फेविकॉल, सॉरी आई कांट हेल्प यू. फेविकॉल बनाने के जिगर चाहिए इतना बड़ा.
Actually read somewhere that I don't know if it's true, but I read somewhere कि आपको Fevicol का account by chance मिल गया था because it was not that important at that point earlier.
Not account, within the agency.
Yeah.
Within the agency, the people who were in creative, they thought this client doesn't do good work. तो मैंने उनको पूछा यार, जब मेरे को दे दिया उन्होंने, तो मैंने कहा अच्छा गुड वर्क जो तुमने किया था दिखाओ सही. तो बोलो तो है ही नहीं. तो मैंने कहा, उसने कहा बोला गुड वर्क नहीं है, नहीं लेगा वो. तो बोला वो लेता नहीं है इसलिए हमने बनाई नहीं. उस जिसने मुझे दिया उसने मेरी ज़िंदगी बना दी. उससे बेटर गुड वर्क तो किसी ने देखा नहीं मैंने अपनी लाइफ में लेते हुए. प्री कंसीव्ड नोशंस कभी नहीं होने चाहिए. दिस इज अनदर पॉइंट फॉर योर ऑडियंस कि उसको मौका तो दो. तुमने बिकॉज यू आर मेड लाइक दिस एंड दैट पर्सन इज अ क्वाइट पर्सन, इनसे यार लेगा नहीं तो मैंने बनाया नहीं. अरे बेवकूफ़, तुम खुल के बात करो, वो तो इतना लेगा जो तुम्हारी औकात नहीं बनाने की. So everyone is a important person in a campaign creation, from a client of course down to the person who is giving you tea at a shoot. पता नहीं कौन क्या कुछ बोल दे जिससे आपको लगे यार इसको तो इसने बेटर बना दिया.
My last question for this segment is कि advertising overall it's not demanding but it can be round the clock and you've had a very you have a legacy. At any point did you feel कि work life balance में problem आ रहा है? How did you manage?
It was never work life for me and never is right now. For me it's a hobby. उसमें yes, my first wife didn't like the work life balance so she left me. So no, jokes apart, when you are enjoying your this thing, nobody is asking you. I've never seen कि कोई किसी को धक्के दे रहा है. अब आपको मज़ा आ रहा है तो आप जाते नहीं हो 3-3 बजे तक घर. वो वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस है या आपका लव लाइफ बैलेंस है? यू लव योर वर्क. सो yes, at times it can be tiring, but then that is life. अभी तुम्हारे घर में भगवान न करे कोई बीमार हो तो आप रात रात नहीं सोते हो. क्लाइंट की ब्रांड को कुछ तकलीफ है और आप यू आर इन लव विद दैट प्रोडक्ट, आप रात रात नहीं सोते हो. तो डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ यू लुक एट इट.
True.
आप अच्छी कैंपेन कर लेते हो जो धमाका हो जाता है, आप रात रात भर दारू पीते हो, तब तकलीफ नहीं होती. Is it work-life balance? No, no, there is life-life balance. It's how you look at it.
So sorry, this was actually the last question, but I had one more question in mind. So like when he mentioned, you said आपको भी advertising नहीं जाना है. Is there a story behind there? How did your parents react when you said advertising में जाना है?
उनको मालूम ही नहीं था यार क्या होती है. They were very. I did very well in my MA history from college, where if you did well in MA history, you're very likely to get into the IAS. And then they were very keen that I get into the IAS after they saw the performance that I had. And I told them मैं नहीं जाऊँगा. तो बोले क्या पागल हो? तो मैंने कहा नहीं, I don't want to live the best years of my life in some place as a deputy collector where I have nothing to do. So they were very disappointed in me. So when I said कि मैं टी में जा रहा हूँ, तो they were very disappointed. चाय में तुम क्या करोगे? And then when I said I'm going into advertising, my father said, your designation is account executive, but तुमको तो accounts आते नहीं है. So I said, no, this is not that account. So the biggest disappointment that my mother had, 1985 I lost my father. 86, 87 I wrote मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा. That was her biggest disappointment कि वो नहीं थे उस टाइम पे. Because she said that अभी अगर वो होते, the way the country went mad about it, as if it was the second Jangan, which it is even today. She says he would have gone to all his friends and said, you know, my son wrote it. पर वो जयपुर जैसी जगह थी, वहाँ एजेंसी नहीं होती थी. उनको लगता था एडवर्टाइजिंग वाला बंदा होता है जो होर्डिंग बनाता है. So they didn't know better. So they were disappointed, and then fortunately my mother was still alive when I got the 3 years of lifetime achievement. So she had seen the almost at least half of the best days of my life. So she came with me for the award thing. In fact, there's a picture of her there in this pillar के पीछे. So ये भी कहना कि यार उनको पसंद नहीं था, तो उनको मालूम ही नहीं था. You can't say that. But later on they enjoyed. Like my father, he used to be very upset with me कि सारे टाइम मैं क्रिकेट खेलता था. एक दो बार उन्होंने मुझसे ये भी बोला, तुम जब बड़े होके क्या खाने के लिए बैट खाओगे? And then when I got to play Ranji Trophy, he quietly went and bought a transistor. So never judge a person who you don't agree with or he doesn't agree with you. उनको नहीं पता था यार ये क्रिकेट से थोड़ी फेम मिल सकती है इसको. उनको नहीं पता था कि तुम एक दिन एडवर्टाइजिंग में यू विल बी मैन टू बी रिकग्नाइज्ड. पर व्हेन दे रियलाइज दे सेड ओह. तो हम उस टाइम बोलते हैं यार इसको कोई, मेरे फादर को कुछ नहीं मालूम है. यार नहीं मालूम है.
You know, and this also brings me back. You have a illustrious family, right? Like Ilaji, Prasunji. What is it? What
Many
was
more.
it like? Yeah, actually that's what I was thinking. What was it like growing up?
Fantastic. See, we were a very large family. We were 11 when my parents were alive, and all my sisters, 2 of my sisters I lost. तो मैं तो क्रिकेट खेल रहा था. But my parents were very encouraging to my sisters in those days. नहीं यार तुम डिबेट करियो, चलो मैं तुमको सिखाता हूँ. तुमको कुछ सितार सीखना चाहिए. डिबेट कर रही हो, उसमें टीवी में तुम्हारा सिलेक्शन हुआ, जाओ करो. In those days people used to talk and they didn't give a damn कि तुम जवान लड़की को भेज रही हो हॉलैंड. उसको स्कॉलरशिप मिली थी. माई सिस्टर ओल्डर देन इलाजी, हर नेम इज रमा पांडे. तो और मैं क्रिकेट खेल रहा था. इट इज़ ईयर्स लेटर व्हेन आई गॉट इनटू दिस एंड पीपल से तूने कहाँ से सीखा. एंड आई ऑलवेज से कि यार देखो, नॉलेज एयर में होती है. एंड आई वॉज ब्रीदिंग इन दैट व्हेन आई डिडंट इवन रियलाइज. अब जब मेरे उसकी ज़रूरत पड़ी है वो सब कहीं ना कहीं से आ रही है. So it doesn't have to be proper training all the time. Training always helps. But वो जो environment है आपका, उसमें इतनी creativity है, जो बातें हैं, उसमें इतनी creativity है, जो लोग कर रहे हैं कि आप क्रिकेट खेल रहे थे मगर वो जा रहा था तो अंदर. That is the story of the family. Very very creative parents. जो उनको मौके नहीं मिले थे उन्होंने बच्चों को दिए.
Right, so this is who is Piyush Pandey. One campaign you wished you had made.
Times of India one campaign that fortunately my brother made it. Day in the life of India, the 6 commercials.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. That's in my wish list. Internationally भी बहुत सारे हैं मगर लोगों ने देखे नहीं है. No point talking about them.
Your favorite food?
जयपुर की कचौरी.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay, at Bombay, any specific food that you like?
Basically, if you ask me, that's the joke with my international fellows that every place in the world I found an Indian food place. 5,000 population place called Blood in Slovenia. वहाँ मैंने एक दुकान ढूंढ ली. तूने यहाँ पे ढूंढ ली? मैंने कहा ढूंढ ली. So yes, I love our Indian food. I can eat other things, but then it is I can eat, and the other one is I want to eat.
True. Your favorite movie?
यार फेवरेट मूवी तो बहुत होती हैं. मतलब अंग्रेजी पिक्चर दोगे तो साउंड ऑफ म्यूजिक. आई जस्ट लव इट. और यहाँ पे अगर जाएंगे तो मेरी कई पिक्चर हैं. आई लव्ड आनंद.
One celebrity you loved working with?
I've always loved working with Mr. Bachchan, and I've worked a lot with him. And very fortunate to have worked with him on 2 long-running campaigns. One is polio, which is my favorite campaign because it resulted to be a part of the huge exercise that made India polio-free. We were also a part of it. 7-8 years I worked with Mr. Bachchan on that. And then I worked very closely with him on Gujarat tourism, where we were away together 20 days at a time. So, and he's delightful because he is half a creative person himself. Despite he's doing a role, he'll always participate, he'll always contribute, and he is so supremely talented that his contribution is magical. And he's been very affectionate towards me. So, it's a combination of everything. You're working with the best, and the best is treating you like almost like an equal. You can never be an equal of him, but that's the joy of working. You're learning while you're working.
So next is, who is Piyush Pandey when not working?
A laughing person who loves people. So it's not just work. I mean, like my cook out here, he's been with me 20 years. My driver out here is with me 20 years. I love chatting with them. One comes from a UP. तो हम लंबी ड्राइव पे जाते हैं. अगर यहाँ से पूना जा रहे हैं, यहाँ से गोवा जा रहे हैं, तो रास्ते में ये बातें होती है. अच्छा तेरे खेती में क्या होता है जब. तो आई लर्न फ्रॉम देम. दिस फेलो इज नेपाली. आई लर्न फ्रॉम हिम एंड वी लाफ टुगेदर. दे आर ऑल्सो ऑन द टोज कि अभी ये जोक क्रैक कर रहा है, सही बात कर रहा है. तो यस, आई लव लाइफ टू बी ब्यूटिफुल. दैट रिमाइंड मी, माय फेवरेट इंग्लिश फिल्म इज also Life is Beautiful.
You actually recently saw it, very nice.
This is brilliant. I don't know how many times I've seen it.
And who would you be if not an advertiser?
I have no idea, yaar. Just no idea. I loved it, and I respect the fact that lots of people love their jobs. But if you ask me this question, what would I be? I have no idea.
This is a true destiny for you to be.
I think so.
My last question, in this industry, who would be that one friend, mentor, advisor that you've had?
In all these categories you put, it's my brother. Because he's not just a ad film maker, he's writer himself. He's fantastic at music and music appreciation. He's a designer by education and he's a lovely guy. Otherwise, if you ask me, there are many people who I respect. There are people like Muhammad Khan, there are a whole lot of other people. But if you ask me as a combination of everything, then I gave you that.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Piyush,
you.
sir,
Thanks
for
a lot.
being on the
God
show.
bless you. No,
Thank
I have
you.
enjoyed myself.